somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to another edition of The Local Show here on GrassRoots Community Network. Thanks for tuning in this week, guys. I'm Erik, Skarvan, your host, as we move towards our 20th anniversary of The Local Show. Guys, I'm so thankful that you joined us this week. Really excited to have a friend of mine. He hasn't been on the show in many years. He is the director of our Aspen Animal Shelter, and he's here with one of his dogs, Holland. Seth, Sachson, welcome back, buddy. We'll give you the long arm of the sun dog there. And your buddy, Holland.
That's Holland, and Holland was found, he's about 2 years old, and he was found running loose in Holland Hills, thus Holland. I was telling you earlier, I've over the years learned to cheat a little and use these mnemonic devices and name them after the locations where they're found so that I can remember the story easily, even decades later. So Holland, found in Holland Hills, Holland. Go ahead.
He's up for adoption.
He's up for adoption. He's friendly with other dogs and with people. He's about a year and a half going on 2 years old. Really just an all-around great dog. I'm trying to think of a flaw to tell you. I always like to throw out some flaws so that people know that I'm being honest.
Right.
I can't think of any really big flaw. He's just a good dog. I would say what some people view as a flaw and what's kept him from being adopted immediately. So if he were a 1.5-year-old yellow lab, he would have been adopted immediately by you previously. However, because he is a pit bull mix, adoptions aren't as hardy for pit bull mixes in general across the country, but also in Aspen. It's not the most popular breed mixture, and I really do think that is the only thing that has kept him from being gobbled up by the community.
And isn't it true that like black-colored or darker-colored dogs are also can be challenging?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, him just looking at me in his eyes, he looks like such a sweetheart.
He's a great dog.
He almost looks like a black lab.
Yeah. I just call
gorgeous.
him like a pit bull black lab mix, but
yeah, he's really
who knows what he has. But he's really cool. I mean, good with kids, good with other dogs. Rides well in the car. Likes to sleep on couches, but can be trained not to if you prefer not. Likes to go on GrassRoots television. Just a good dog.
So how do you? I guess one question that is kind of seems low-hanging fruit is, how do you stop adopting dogs yourself? Like falling for these dogs.
I've fallen
and
prey.
Cutting yourself off from not adopting.
Well, I've done it. I've been there, done that, and I had sort of an easy excuse because when I was heavily into dog sledding and ski joring and all that many years ago, I used dog sledding as an excuse to be a hoarder. And so, but
I need this team.
I had 12 dogs at one time. Actually, my last one from my 12-dog team that I took from Krabunik when they were puppies. Yeah. 16 years old, and the last one just died, Surrey. And so thanks, but I've been there, done that, and it was so exciting, and I lived my dream and loved having my 12 dogs, and they slept in bed with me, and we went hiking, and literally I was living like the craziest life, but it seemed normal at the time. Now when I look back, that was kind of abnormal, but when you're immersed in it, it seems like just a regular thing. But I feel like been there, done that. It was amazing, but I probably will not do it again because it's a lot to keep up with in your personal life to have 12 dogs on top of like I have horses and chickens and all that. But
and kids.
And now I have kids.
Now. Yeah.
So I can't imagine it now. But when I was sort of a young, selfish, and single, it was awesome, and it didn't really seem like that big a deal.
Yeah.
Now if I were to like watch a video of myself living that life, I'd sort of I'd say wow, but I'd say like, oh my God, how's that kid doing that? So.
But you did it, and
I did it, and it's a great memory.
So you used to do dog sledding because you had kind of the dog sled team.
Yeah.
And we've got a fun image of you,
nice.
dog sledding the Rio Grande Trail.
Cool.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
So how many dogs do you currently have?
I have 6 dogs.
So you still have 6 dogs.
Yeah. So I have dogs from they're all from the shelter, from the Aspen Animal Shelter. And all these guys, some of them are younger dogs that joined my team of 12.
Okay.
I have some Kerblunic dogs still.
Okay.
And then a lot of them are just cool dogs that while I was still young, selfish, and single, that I would take home just to test them out and see how they are off leash and see how do they do with chickens.
Right.
Do they like to swim in a pond? Do they like to go mountain biking? And I've learned my lesson because when you take a dog home, you're not bringing it back. And so I've stopped bringing dogs home because you fall in love with them and then you have them. So I still have 6 dogs, but now I've decided what I'd like to do is give these dogs a great life. And then, it's sad to think, but many, many years from now when I don't have any dogs, I think I'd like to use, I live in Old Snowmass on 5 acres that's fenced in. And I'd like to, rather than have 1 million dogs that are my dogs, I'm the owner, I'd rather bring shelter dogs home just, hey, you're coming home with me for the weekend, but I get to know them better and they're still available for adoption.
Okay.
Because I don't have to possess them and they don't have to, it's not like you're my best friend, because my six dogs that I have now, I would never give away to anyone else, and they're my babies. But I'd like to sort of transition to where I'm sort of a temporary, sort of like the animal shelter. I'm a temporary home, but I can even learn more about them, and maybe people can come visit them at my house and see them outside of the shelter, and that might be really cool for a family that actually lives on a ranch and has chickens and sheep, and they're looking at this dog that is roaming with the chickens and the sheep and is well behaved.
Yeah.
That might make the dog more adoptable. Or, hey, come on over and, oh, you want a dog that retrieves? Here, let's throw a stick in my pond.
Right.
So that's,
you almost have the shelter effect and the foster home effect.
Yeah, it's
and then the more insight into the dog.
Yeah.
So you can be a better matchmaker.
Yeah.
Because you now have had this dog at your place.
Seems like a win-win.
Or the people came over to your place and saw him interact
Right.
in kind of that environment.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
That's the direction I want to go, and I
like it.
And it seems like an evolution, even if to get really deep, like I'm on a therapist's couch. When you're young, you want to mark your territory as a young unneutered male. You want to pee all over everything. And I wanted to. They're my dogs. Not only do you possess them, they're your soulmate, and that's completing me. You complete me. You. And then when you go out to dinner and your dog goes with you and waits for you outside the restaurant without a leash, you're telling the world how cool you are. My dog loves me, and I don't feel the need to prove myself to anyone anymore, including myself. And so I'd rather just help the dogs, and I'm not trying to make my mark on the world by showing myself and others that I have a cool Siberian Husky that can go skiing with me.
Almost like a status symbol in
some
some
look,
regards.
Yeah, and I look back, when I was younger, I definitely loved my dogs with all my heart, but it was also I felt cool walking around town with my Husky,
Right.
And also when you're young and single, it helps you meet girls. It helps you, now with your lab, I bet you've met some girls.
Puppy power, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
we
yeah.
learned that in college, actually.
Yeah, right.
Working our puppy Rasta through campus.
Totally.
Early on, we were like, oh, this puppy thing. Hey, and then our buddies were coming over going, hey, can we borrow Rasta
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
day
yeah.
and walk her through campus?
Totally.
And, well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the benefits of dog ownership.
Right.
That's one of them for sure.
Girls.
You might magnetize people and meet some different people through doggy
funny.
interactions. But we got to take a quick break, buddy.
Okay.
We're going to get hydrated.
Awesome.
Make sure Holland is hydrated too. Although I think he's now
fast asleep.
He's in nappy hour.
Yeah,
Puppy
that's awesome.
nappy hour. I do want to thank our winter underwriters for making this series happen with great guests like Seth here from our Aspen Animal Shelter. We've got Haiti Children, Highlands Ale House, Klug Properties, Paradise Bakery, Picken County Solid Waste Center, Red Brick Center for the Arts, Susie's Consignment Aspen, Sundog Athletics, the Wheeler Opera House, and White River Overland. We're going to go to our only break of the show, guys. We'll be gone just for 2 minutes. Then we'll be back with Seth and how you can get involved in our local animal shelter and so much more. So don't go away. At the Wheeler Opera House, we set the stage for connections that create memories for our audiences, artists, and greater Aspen community. At the Wheeler Opera House, all are welcome. You're welcome to be a part of history.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
Want to live like a local? Help us reduce food waste, a major contributor to climate change.
You can help in 3 simple ways.
Plan menus carefully and only buy what you need.
Collect unused scraps for compost.
Buy ugly fruits and vegetables.
Reduce food waste.
Live like a local.
Red Brick Center for the Arts is Aspen's hub for creative activity, offering youth and adult art classes, gallery exhibitions, artist studios, and nonprofits. You can take a class, meet with artists, purchase art, and be a part of Aspen's art scene. More at redbrickaspen.com. Locally owned and operated and consistently voted #1 for après-ski, Highlands Ale House is the local ski bar, serving delicious drinks and comfort food, including pizza, burgers, salads, bowls, and more. Located at the base of Aspen Highlands. Brought to you by Paradise Bakery and Gelateria, serving Aspen for 42 years. White River Overland specializes in camper van upfitting, catering to mountain outdoor enthusiasts. WRO's builds are purpose-driven to enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. WRO is nestled in the White River National Forest in Aspen.
Susie's Consignment in Aspen at 600 East Main. Same friendly faces, same great prices, and new items daily. See you at Susie's.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Thanks for sticking with us here on the local show. We've got Dog Boy. I named him years ago.
Nice.
Seth Sachson and his buddy and adoptable Holland. Such a gorgeous doggy, and he's
Cool.
feeling right at home here, Seth.
He's great, and I just so people know he's actually quite athletic. He's agile, athletic. He would love to be your jogging companion as well as your couch companion. So he's just an all-around great dog. And if people are interested, can I throw out our phone number?
Oh, for sure.
Call the shelter anytime. We're open every day of the year, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., 970-544-0206. And somebody that just wants a cool turnkey dog, Holland would be great for you.
And that's the thing. It's like, get a dog that matches your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
If you're more active, you want a more active dog. And I have to give you credit because you just hooked me up with my new dog Marley.
Totally.
Now I'm living Marley and me. Luckily, it's not exactly like the movie, but she was pretty high energy.
That's funny. That's funny.
And I don't have Jennifer Aniston in my life, unfortunately. But, there's still hope because I'm getting some attention with little Marley.
Nice, man.
Had her up
and you're a television star. You have your own TV show.
I don't know about star, but it's been great. And I wanted to talk about that because I am so grateful. When I had lost both my dogs in the last couple months, both Luna and Sammy, who I had for quite a few years. And obviously that's devastating when you lose kind of like your kids, when you're single. And, I put the word out. I was more like just, hey, if you, eventually see a yellow lab, my style, Seth. And we had that conversation. And within an hour, you had sent me a couple of possibilities. And luckily one of them did work out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that because even though you don't maybe not have that dog at your shelter, but talk about how you just want to match people up.
I'd say second to just loving the hands-on actually caring for the dogs. Like I love that I'm touching Holland and I know him well and I feed him and all that sort of stuff. Second to that, I love just being a matchmaker. Yeah. And I probably could do the same thing if as a car salesman. Oh, you like fast car? You want a Porsche 911 or do you want a station wagon? But I love learning about someone and then finding the dog that's right for them. Because I definitely see one of many reasons why dogs end up in animal shelters is it's not a good match.
Yep.
And so if you don't find the right dog for you, it's not going to be a happy home. And why live with a dog that's not the right fit? And so
it's not sustainable.
Yeah, so I'm really fulfilled by and have a blast searching to match dogs with people. I love it. And so
people shouldn't hesitate to contact you.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what dogs are in your shelter or other shelters?
Yeah, I love searching. Like since a little, I've told this story before, so forgive me if any.
Go for it, man.
If anybody's heard this before, my parents, when I was a little kid, I would fall asleep I grew up in Dallas, with the Dallas Morning News spread all over my bed, and I'd fall asleep with the paper. However, I was reading the classified ads. It was before computers, and you can't search on Craigslist and all that.
Right, that's how.
But I read every single day the animal section of the classified ads in the Dallas Morning News, and my mom asked me one day, she said, "Can't you at least read the newspaper before you read the classifieds?" But we've had discussions since that, see, Mom, it paid off. I made my career out of reading the classified ads. But it definitely was a discussion in our household, in like the 80s or whatever. Like, hey, maybe read the front page as well.
Right, you start in the back and maybe work your way forward.
I started with the classified ads.
I love it. So early on, you were showing that.
Oh my God, I'm excited by, even if I don't have an Erik who I'm searching for a dog for, there's always somebody in my mind who wants a dog, and it makes it more fun to like look at all the dogs that need homes, and so on a daily basis. I mean, I hate to admit this. Sometimes at like midnight, I'm known to like go on to Craigslist and see what dogs are available, and often what I do that's fun and helpful for everyone is if I see a dog that's been listed for a while, and let's say like 2 weeks later the dog is still there, I'll call the people and offer. I'll say, hey, I see you're in Denver, if you want to drive your dog out here to the Aspen Animal Shelter, we're happy to neuter and vaccinate your dog and find it a home. And oftentimes people are grateful because they're just kind of stuck. Like they don't want the dog anymore. They don't want to turn into their local shelter for whatever reason, and they get excited and oftentimes those dogs end up living, not often, but if they partake in the offer, the dogs end up getting adopted and living a great life.
What's the best part of that for you? Like say you make this match.
Yeah.
Like say Marley and me.
Yeah.
Like what's the best part?
Well, it actually gives me, I get sort of a high from like the search.
Yeah.
But then the actual accomplishment, the high wears off, and it makes me just feel peaceful. Like it makes me feel good. Like I feel happy that I found you a dog, and no, I'm not being cheesy. Like it makes me feel complete. But it just it makes me feel happy. Like I was doing it. It was fun for me, and I like the search, and it's a good outcome for everyone. And the dog ended up getting a great home. You're happy.
Yeah.
And you'll have a happy life together.
It must feel good though when someone expresses gratitude for that. Like you feel like I'm fulfilling. Like, don't you feel like you're fulfilling your purpose? Like it's not just your job.
Yeah.
This is who you are.
I love it. Yeah, it makes me so happy, and it's like when I have young kids interning with me and stuff. I always tell them my parents told me when I was young and graduating college. Actually, the reason I moved out here. They told me to follow my dreams.
Yeah.
And so I remember having a conversation with them in 1992, graduating college. It was weeks before graduation, spring of 92. And they said, follow your dreams. And I had always wanted to be a dog sled musher at Krabloonik. And that's why I moved out here. And then I was visiting the local animal shelter one day. We needed a mouser in our house. I lived with Josh Landis and Sue Gouda, a bunch of people.
Amazing.
Some of them still live here today.
Yeah.
Mike McKee. I could go on and on. 8 people and 8 dogs we lived with. But I went to the local shelter to get a cat. We needed a mouser. And the minute I walked into the Aspen Animal Shelter in 1992, I knew I was home. And it just felt I had never known something. I was never so sure about anything before.
Wow.
And so that's how I ended up here. Parents told me to follow my dreams. Always wanted to be a dog sled musher. Went to the local shelter. Felt right. Bam. So that's my.
You could just feel it. You're like when you went in there.
I felt so
It felt
complete.
like home. It felt right.
When you're searching in like I grew up, and I mean not to get too personal, but cameras are off, right? I'm just playing. But
this is all on the record.
I grew up. My dad's a doctor and incredibly intelligent. My mom is an art dealer, and I always wanted to feel like I was leading a productive life. And when you're young, you're trying to figure everything out and search and I was driven, but I just hadn't really found what other than I always loved dogs and animals, and I knew that, but it was just so weird and I studied animal behavior in college and volunteered at the Humane Society in Tucson, but it never felt right, and I never knew my destiny until I walked through those doors. And
I love it.
And it's great, and it's been a great trip 32 years later. But it is funny, I guess a word of advice or a story for younger people watching, like, sometimes I look back and, like, the search, the pursuit, the adventure is almost as exciting as the actual accomplishment. And so sometimes I miss those days where you're scared and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do, and you haven't even, like, felt that complete feeling yet, and then that day that you actually say, I feel fulfilled. And so I look back on like the 90s in Aspen as such a special time for me, because I was discovering who I am, and discovering the animal shelter, and discovering Aspen, and so neat.
The journey.
Yeah, the journey.
Yeah, the road is greater than the end.
Right.
Is Miguel Cervantes, you know, so
I love that.
And that's actually part of being with a dog, right? Because they teach us how to be in the moment, in the now, in the process, in the journey, before some unknown destination even occurs, right? That's most of our life. Yeah. We're on our way somewhere, right? We're on our way to the next.
Well, we've always got our ends justify our means. Just to keep up with you and your references, Machiavelli, The Prince, St. Mark's School of Texas, Dallas, Texas.
There you go.
I had a decent education as a youngster, but Machiavelli, the ends justify the means, but that's not necessarily true. And and dogs live that way. Now I have children. I'm married with children now, and it's very similar. Like when dogs have to pee, they pee. You know, and when dog's happy, the dog wags his tail. They're not hiding it.
Right.
And young kids, when they're upset, they cry. You know, and
there's an honesty, kind of a pure realness,
honesty
about it, and in the moment too. Yeah. And I think we as humans naturally worry about maybe mistakes we made in the past, or what may or may not happen in the future, and we're missing the moment so often. And I'm trying to catch myself, because some of the lessons I learned from my last dogs, you know, Luna and Sammy, were being in the moment. You know, having fun.
Right.
You know, what about just having fun?
Yeah.
So, you know, we're down already 5 minutes to go, Seth, and I want to talk about our shelter, because since you worked at our former shelter in the 90s, we have a new state-of-the-art shelter.
Yeah.
For how many years now?
So we completed construction of the new facility in 2006.
Wow.
And now we're in 2024 almost, so I'm bad at math. 18 years, I guess we've been in.
Well, let's talk about opportunities for the community to get involved, because you can volunteer at the shelter.
Oh, God. So we always encourage people to come out, because we have a great staff at the animal shelter. We get there, believe it or not, 4:30 in the morning to get everyone out, keep everybody house trained, then give them their food, their medication, and get ready for 7 o'clock when we open for the public and the day begins. And we have a great self-sustaining facility in which the animals with homes support the animals without homes. So our boarding kennel, our pet shop, our grooming shop all generate revenue to support the homeless dogs.
Right.
And then another beautiful aspect of it is it's a virtuous circle, because then Holland, who currently is being supported by the boarding dogs, the pet shop dogs, and the grooming dogs, he will be adopted. He's going to end up boarding with us, pet shopping with us, grooming with us, and helping the next homeless dog. So in economics, that's called a virtuous circle.
It's a circle,
and it's awesome. However, my point being, and I know we have like 2 minutes left, my point being is, so yes, the employees, we're there to take care of the food and all your base stuff. But what we love most about volunteers is we need people to come and put their hands on the animals and pet the dogs and the cats, socialize with the animals, play ball with the dogs, brush the cats. That's the most important thing. So let us feed and medicate and pick up poop in the yards and all that stuff. You come and just share love with the animals, and that's going to make them happy, whether they're living with us for a while and just need love, or to help socialize them so they're ready to go into their new home. And even you having us on television today, Holland got to have an outing from the animal shelter. He got to sleep on a couch for a half an hour. And what could be better? And so every experience, every good experience is number one, helping them just have a better day, but it's also leading up to a possible adoption.
And people can check out dogs available and cats for adoption. Is it dogsaspen.com?
We have, that's great. So Yes, and we built a new website, and we simply call it now AspenAnimalShelter.com.
Okay.
But if you go to dogsaspen.com, it takes you to AspenAnimalShelter.com.
Okay, they're all
It's
linked
all
up.
it's all the same, and you can
I was
see.
looking at Callie and Allie this
Yep,
morning,
yep.
and
And
you
they're-
can see the currently available dogs, and then there's a
Yeah.
pet cam,
Yep, you
which
can
is
watch
fun.
them.
So when you're bored your dog there or wherever you are in
Yeah.
the world, you can look at the live cams.
Yeah, and you see the shelter dogs. Some people, before, let's say they're going to drive from Denver because they want to meet Holland, and they say, we saw you on GrassRoots, but he was just sleeping the whole time. Can we see him running around and in action? So they can watch our web cameras, and I can go out and play ball with Holland or run around before they make a 4-hour drive.
Oh, fun.
So, yeah.
I wish we had more time, buddy. Did you enjoy the time
I
we
loved
had
this.
today?
Thank you.
I baked
Great.
you some cookies.
Oh,
this
I'll
is
take
not oatmeal.
Okay.
I reuse and repurpose my bags.
I think that's awesome.
There's homemade chocolate chip cookies in there.
I'll
for
take
you.
them.
A small token.
Yeah,
of
and
my
I'll share them.
appreciation.
I'll share them with all the guys at the animal shelter.
And I don't
So
know if
thank
those
you.
are good for Holland, but I'll let you be the judge.
I'll switch it up. I'll give them some dog biscuits and tell them that they're from you.
Thank you, Seth.
Thanks for
Sachson.
having us.
Thank you, Holland, and thank you guys above all for watching this week on The Local Show. At the Wheeler Opera House, we set the stage for connections that create memories for our audiences, artists, and greater Aspen community. At the Wheeler Opera House, all are welcome. You're welcome to be a part of history.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
Join the string beans in helping reduce food waste in our community.
Plan menus carefully and only buy what you need.
Collect unused scraps for compost.
Ask for smaller portions in restaurants.
Take home leftovers to eat later.
Donate unopened food to our food bank.
Let's work in concert to reduce food waste.
Sundog Athletics, Aspen's adventure sports school and snowshoeing specialists since 1996.
Welcome to